Welcome to Business Connection. I'm Liz Spencer. We have wonderful guests in studio. We have Dan Kokenauer, who's the owner of Audio Video Specialists, and Chad Mikula, who's one of his customers.
Good morning.
Welcome, you guys.
Good morning.
So, Dan, tell me how you got started in this business. I love this story.
So I actually got started back in junior high in the AV club, and it wasn't for good intentions. I actually wanted that free hall pass that I could roam the school without getting bothered. And it led into really loving technology. And I would have never thought that it would have put me on the pathway of technology for a career, but through the junior high and high school AV club, it kind of progressed.
That's awesome. I love that story. All for the wrong reason, for that hall
pass. Right, all for the hall pass.
Oh, yeah. Chad, why did you think you needed a professional?
It really has to do with the scale of the project and how much technology has evolved to be anything but an afterthought in your house. And, you know, I think when Dan and I first met, it was realizing that I needed somebody to help me see what was possible and how technology is going to evolve. So you're not building something for just today, but you're looking forward and you're not painting yourself into a corner and those types of things. And you can't get that sort of support from like a big box retailer where you're just going in and buying a product and then you're going to plug it in yourself.
Right. Well, and I think you said an interesting thing about you wanting to build for the future because everything is just constantly progressing. Dan, tell me, what did you put in Chad's house?
Well, it really started, I got brought in by a builder to talk to him about what he had, and he had a whole house audio system, and they were just looking, does it need to be upgraded, so on and so forth, and that led to conversations with Chad about what do you want to do, you know, how long are you going to be in the home, and we started going through the process, and we ended up doing a smart home for him, where we kind of gave him all of the control of his subsystems in the house, HVAC, security, surveillance, and sound, and kind of made it his own. And he has access to his complete house anywhere in the world.
Wow. Chad, that sounds awesome.
So for me, I was also at a point where I was moving from a small apartment into a home. And so it was a great time to be thinking about, do I want to go out and just pick out televisions, and do I want to go pick out a sound system? And realizing that integration of products is so common today, and that's how you get the most value out of them. And I had no idea how I would do that myself.
What did Dan either tip you to or show you that surprised you the most about your technology, of what you could do?
I would say how everything is networked, and also what you can do from your portable devices. As an example, you know, you can see security cameras on your phone. You can open and close your garage doors. You can arm and disarm your alarm system, which, you know, isn't an alarm system that's run by his company. It's, you know, all of those, you know, nationally based alarm system companies with your keypad in your house. Well, that can now be pulled into your phone. So I could arm and disarm my house, lock and unlock my doors, open and close my garage door from anywhere in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Dan, how have we taken being at home and our technology at home more seriously in the last 5 years? Now, I'm sure you have a big screen and you've got the surround sound. Now we want to have theater quality in our home. We want to have orchestra quality. We want to be able to control all our systems. How has that evolved in the last 5 years, and what have you done with it?
Well, you just think about Facebook, you think about the internet, and where we've come from the mid-2000s. And it's continually progressed where now everything is connected. We want instant connections to our social media, or we want to be on YouTube or whatever we want to view anywhere in the house. We don't want to be tied to having to go to a specific room. And so being able to provide services that people can connect their devices, tie into their systems, and be able to do that. But it's grown immensely as everything now is tied to your internet and your social media.
Well, I think that brings me to the question that what is the most overlooked piece of equipment in the house for technology?
I would have to say the router. Most people will call up a provider and the guy shows up and he slaps a router in the corner of a house where there's a cable jack, and that's your Wi-Fi for your house. I've got some customers that have upwards of 60 devices connected to any one moment of time on their Wi-Fi, and you have to have a good product to be able to support all these mobile devices that people have in their homes these days. So that's kind of the first part we start with them, is to make sure that they can support all the things that they want to do in their technology of their home.
Well, I think that's very smart, because nothing's more frustrating to have all this and not have enough power and or RAM, speed to do everything you want, because the goal is to be able to have somebody watching something in the living room, have somebody looking up a recipe in the kitchen, and so forth. So
correct. You can liken that to having a muscle car with little dinky tires. You've got all this horsepower, but the wheels will just keep spinning and you're not going to get anywhere.
And Dan, how does your company find customers or work with the customers to figure out what they need? What's your first step? You met Chad, but when you get somebody like that, how do you help guide them through all this?
We walk through a process. So it's conversations, just like we're having here. We sit down with the customer. We try to get the feel for them, how they like to live their life, what their plans are, because that helps us guide them in the right direction. There are tons and tons of options.
I think that choosing technology today is a bit like choosing a house was 20 years ago, and in that everybody has a budget. Even if you're Bill Gates, you still have a budget for what you want to spend. Everyone has a budget. Everyone wants as much as they can get, and there's choices to be made. If you want a dream kitchen in your house, maybe you can't have that screened-in porch or that back patio with the fire pit. Everyone has to make choices. So the thing that I loved about Dan was because it has to start like a conversation, because of course I want everything, but I'm going to have to make some choices. So help me understand the pleasure and pain that I'm going to get from some of these different choices. And for example, choosing to not spend money on a router because I'd rather have an extra 5 inches larger screen, without his coaching, I might choose to do that. Yeah, why would I spend money on something that's in the closet that I don't see? And then all of a sudden that will negatively impact the system.
Correct.
That's a great example. Well, gentlemen, thanks for stopping by. I can't believe our time is gone already. This is a fascinating conversation, and one that I think touches us on so many levels, because we're all tied to our technology in so many ways. So thank you very much. We're going to be right back with more Business Connections. Stay tuned.